Hello and welcome to project 9 of the 12 outfits of Christmas. We are getting through them. Project number 9, we are doing a jacket. Might seem odd when I'm sitting here in a little sundress, but you know, you never know this year with the way the weather's been when you're going to need a little jacket, and some of you may not be in Australia or the Southern Hemisphere and it's probably freezing cold where you are. This is for you. So, we are doing this jacket, which is Butterick 6129. Cute little, probably 70's outfit with those neck scarves. The fabric that I've chosen, well, originally I was going to use this lavender wool. It's a wool blend, it's not 100% wool. But then I was looking at the pattern and there's a bit of gathering that goes on at the waistline where everything comes in, and this is probably a bit too heavyweight for that, and I don't think it's gonna work. But I do have this grey, also a wool blend, and yeah, it's a lot smaller. Like, this is the same meterage as, oh goodness, it's the same meterage as this one. So you can see the difference in the weight of these two. So I think this one will work a whole lot better for this pattern. And yeah, I guess we just get into it. You can see how many pieces are in this jacket. Like, I think it's a very cool jacket in the end, but it's so many little bits. Hence why I went with the lighter weight, because there's going to be so many seams in here. Alright, so I got everything cut out yesterday, but that's as far as I got before I ran out of time. And now it's ready to start putting together, which starts with these back pieces. And the very first step is to take some little squares, which get centered over here, and they reinforce this edge. Oh, I was wrong. The darts are the first thing done, and then we do this whole little square reinforcement thing on the pointy bit. I think someone's over me sewing every day, blocking access to my pedal. So I've got my little squares pinned to the right side of the yoke back, and now I just need to sew them along this. I've marked so that I actually know where I'm sewing. It's a 1.5 seam allowance. So then I just need to sew along just on this actual square piece, and then cut diagonally up to here where the seam is. So then all of this then gets folded under and round to the wrong side. So I've got my reinforcement squares all sewn in and clipped, and that's fine, I understand that. The part that I'm now up to, I do not understand. Well, I kind of do now that I've worked through it, but it did not make any sense at first. So there is a stitching line marked on the pattern, and that is what I've just marked here and pinned on this side. which I was like trying to figure out which side I needed to sew that on because the instructions aren't super clear. I mean, they are if you just look at this and go, yeah, that's the wrong side and this little square is on the other side. Like, it's all there. It just needs some puzzling out in translation when you're not 100% sure on techniques, which I am not. But I have it figured out, sewing this line on the wrong side, as you normally would, not like these, which are on the right side. And then when this sort of all flips out, then that edge makes a nice finished point, which then gets top stitched onto these pieces, I think. So let's sew this and then iron it and hope it turns out the way I think it's going to turn out. My bottom edges are all stitched, turned and pressed, and I've just pinned them after pressing them so that they sort of cool down where I want it to. So now on the right side it looks like this, and it is now time to do this sort of bottom section that these triangles sit over. I have my yoke, back yoke pinned to my back pieces. Now I'm going to stitch along here, and hopefully I don't have to undo all the basting stitches because that'll be annoying trying to tell which one's which. I should have done them in a different color. And then essentially we're going to do pretty much the same process to the front until we have the front pieces ready. And I will probably catch you when I've got backs and front, because how many times do you need to see me struggle with a triangle? Alright, so I now have the completed back piece and 2 front pieces. Now I just have to join them at the shoulder seams and gather the bottom, which will then go into the waistband pieces. Okie. Now I've got these interfaced. I need to attach them to each other and they become one side of my waistband. So I thought I was up to the point where I'm gathering this top to fit the waistband, but then I was like, hang on, how is this working? Because my sides aren't together. I don't understand. Now, I just completely misread the instructions that say shoulders and sides. I saw shoulders and moved on. So I'm going to sew my sides together now, trying not to get my gathering stitches, and then we'll come back to this. All right, take 2. My side seams are now done up. Right, I've got my major points pinned where things need to meet. Now it's just a matter of gathering in these and pinning it and then sewing it. Right, we're on to the collar time. So I've got two pieces, which are these two. So I just need to join them and then join them to the neck of the actual jacket. I've got the undercollar pinned on, but I have to wait until somebody moves because, you know, you can't disturb a sleeping puppy. Yeah. Alright, so the sort of main body of the jacket is kind of together. It's looking really cool. Now it's time to put on the upper collar, which I think is a really interesting way that they've done it, because by doing it this way, it finishes both the collar and the waistband at the same time. I'm like, genius. My extra waistband pieces, I need to put those together just the same as I did the original ones, minus the interfacing. And then they attach to the bottom of this collar facing. And then once that is whole, it just sort of whacks on. Well, from this way, you pin it right sides to right sides, do the whole edges, and then just flip it. It's magical. I'm so excited to see how this works, because just genius. Whoever came up with this plan, I like you. Okay, we now have this fun looking shape. This now just gets placed on top of that, pinned and sewn around the edges. Not quite as magical as I'd hoped, but that's my fault because I stitched on the waistband to here the wrong way round. So now they don't fit together, and when I flip it won't match up. So, need to unpin all this to unpick just these two little seams. Where to go? There. And flip them the other way. Right, let's try that again, and hopefully I got it the right way out this time. Moment of truth. See if this worked. And it did. It needs pressing to push it all into nice cornered shapes and everything, but it totally worked. So now I need to press it, and then I need to sort of slip stitch all these remaining bits up and get these edges where there's this hole ready for the zip. So I turn in the seam allowance and press it. So with all that done, it's looking like a jacket. I love that method of facing. It's so effective. My next step is to put in the zip. And this is a, what are they? Like open at the bottom. What do they call those ones? Does it say? I don't know. The openy bottom ones. So now, because this edge is still open, so I just need to slip the zip in between and sew it on. I'm very happy with that. This is my first time doing one of these zips, if you couldn't tell by the fact I had no idea what it was called. So to get it in first go, I'm pretty chuffed. And now that's the base of it done. I just need to put sleeves on. I have 2 sleeves complete with cuff. They are ready to be put in to my jacket. Well, I was just laying this out to be able to show you guys, like, yay, look, sleeves are on, it's done. And then somebody decides that that's the perfect spot to curl up and go to bed. So I think he's definitely telling me that it is time to pack up and go to bed. We have finished in one day a jacket